Welcome to the NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One. We're in Spokane for second round tournament action. Fourth-seeded Gonzaga out of the WCC advancing. They'll take on fifth-seeded Utah out of the Pac-12. Oh, the Kennel is going to be on fire tonight. You could count on that. Who's going to grab that last ticket to the Sweet 16? Stars will be out. We cannot wait. A look at our updated Region 4 Portland bracket. Tonight's winner will face Texas, Stanford, North Carolina State, having made it to the Sweet 16 as well. Good evening, everybody. Ann Chutz joined by my broadcast partner. That's Mike Tebow, Washington Mystics GM in the WNBA. Dream matchup, so much at stake. You can feel the energy.
Well, when you have a spot in the Sweet 16 on the line, a 4-5 matchup like this with such even teams is what you hope for. Modern basketball, three-point shots, power in the post.
Power in the post is right. Now we're talking about Alyssa Peely and Yvonne Ejim. Talk about power.
Well, this is the marquee matchup. I mean, two of the better post players in the country. You know, Ejim is a force inside, a great offensive rebounder and a great post player. And you have Alyssa Peely on the other side, modern post player, undersized, but can shoot at the three-point line, distributes, and plays on the block.
Oh, welcome into the Kennel. Technically, the McCarthy Athletic Center, affectionately known as the Kennel. We're on the campus of Gonzaga University, where the fourth-seeded Zags will host fifth-seeded Utah. The joint is jumping 6,000 plus. A look at today's starting lineups presented by Capital One for the Utes. Vieta makes this club go. McQueen, Johnson will be critical for Utah tonight. Not for the Zags. The Trong sisters are a handful. So much fun to watch. And know this, Brenna Maxwell will be facing her former Utah teammates for the first time since transferring to Gonzaga. So we are ready to tip off. Gonzaga hosting for the first time since 2013, taking on Utah out of the rugged Pac-12. And we are underway. Gonzaga in their home whites with the tip.
Well, we'll see. I think they're going to try to go to Ejim if they can quickly.
Gonzaga with that first-round victory over UC Irvine, starting a little bit slowly. Let's see if they can start
That's a good sign. And usually it's on the block. This time they tried to go the other way around. We got a little bit cross-matched here. You had Alyssa Peely and Yvonne Ejim. They're not going to be matched up against each other all night.
The Utes defeating South Dakota State in round one. Peely just muscles it in.
The two stars have just started out. Now you're going to see Ejim guard Peely, but on the other end, it's going to be Jenna Johnson guarding Ejim.
Nice start for both clubs. They both were a little sluggish initially in those first-round victories here at the Kennel. Nothing there for Hollingsworth. Vieta wants to push. Keeps that dribble alive. Stop and pop, not there. We'll go the other way. A rebounding is going to be critical tonight, Mike.
It really is. We saw both teams down the stretch on Saturday do a great job of blocking out, and it ended up being a critical part of the game.
Pull-up jumper, a little short, hustling in for that board. McQueen, who was dynamic in that first-round game, both ends of the floor. Vieta and now Peely. On the shot clock. Skip pass. Wilkie. Rimming off. Peely offensive board. Utes will start anew.
Well, when you have this many three-point shots that we'll see, there are going to be a lot of long rebounds. And so guards are going to have to come and dig in and help on the long rebounds. Posts aren't going to be able to do it all.
Peely, ball on the deck. Single coverage. Sweeping in and scoring.
It's a nice luxury to have a post player that can finish with either hand fairly equally, too.
2,000-point scorer as Peely spent her first few years at USC, now at Utah. Wilkie this time with the board, pivotal for Utah in game one.
And the game will have a pace just like this.
Okay, how about the start for Peely?
That's what she does. You better get out and guard her out there. And she's quick enough with her first step that if you come too tight on her, she can go by a lot of post players.
What a start for Peely. Remember, she had 37 points 2 times this year against South Carolina and Southern Cal. Oh, just like a fullback going in for the 2 is Kaylee Trong.
These teams, just in watching them practice and prepare, they're so similar. Both have post players that can play outside and inside. They like the high-low. They got 3-point shooters all over the floor.
Ball stripped away. Utah head coach Lynn Roberts, 4 20-win seasons, including the last 3 straight. Last year's Pac-12 Coach of the Year, coming off last year's sensational season where this Utah club made it all the way to the Sweet 16, losing at the bitter end to the eventual champion LSU. Nowhere to go. Dumping it high-low. Perfect pass.
I think you're going to say high-low a lot tonight.
That's Hollingsworth connecting with Ejim. Beautifully done. 7-6 Utes with the lead. Back and forth we go. Great start to this second-round game. Ejim battling. Johnson keeps the ball alive. Peely, another long ball. Oh, baby Peely already with a couple of triples. Points for Alyssa Peely already. Answer, Hollingsworth.
Again, post players that are versatile. Hollingsworth, she balances out Ejim's game.
Love the game of Liza Hollingsworth. Just keeps getting better every single year.
Or run out available if they see it.
Vieta, the quick hands. Going to go up against Hollingsworth. Stepping through. They're going to call her for the walk.
I think it's a good call. Well, here's the hands of Vieta. She's just got quick hands. Has the right attack, right idea to cross over, but takes the extra step right there.
That's a great job by Hollingsworth to come over and make it uncomfortable.
Yes, and that's all you can do. You don't want to foul in that situation, especially early in the game.
Esther Little onto the floor now for Gonzaga, in for rebounding and defense primarily. Maxwell will take a seat. Hyben's in as well, 6th player of the year for the WCC. Ooh.
It's going to be physical inside.
Lisa Fortier, 10th year, semifinalist for Naismith Coach of the Year. 6-time WCC Coach of the Year in all those 20-win seasons. My goodness.
You know, technically they're still a mid-major, but nobody around the country anymore that has to play and thinks of them that way. They are a power school now in basketball on both men's and women's side.
McQueen with that foul, by the way. Her first, team's first. But speaking of mid-majors, Mike, Gonzaga is the last remaining mid-major team in this tournament. That says a lot about this club.
And to be hosting.
You bet.
You get a 4 seed. They've went out and played a tough schedule preseason and or non-conference, and then it's paid off.
Deja Young checking in for Utah. 11-10 Gonzaga with the lead. Here's Young. Wilkie wants that baseline. Trong wouldn't let her have it. 7 on the shot clock now. Vieta. Jab step, McQueen.
That's great defense.
Crowd had something to do with that.
And Gonzaga, when they got in trouble there, they were willing to switch some of the big plays.
Student section is loud and into it. The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? What a start to this ball game. Gonzaga leading Utah 11-10 in the first quarter. Back and forth we go. Let's check out tonight's most reliable player, brought to you by Xfinity.
Well, Alyssa Pilley, she's done all their scoring. She's got all 10 points. And if you go back to the end of the game the other night, she made 5 of her last 6 shots in that game and is 4 for 4 to start. 9 of 10 is a really good straight stretch for anybody, and knocks it down with a 3, her second of the game.
It's way too early for this, Mike, but Pilley's on pace to score something like 40 or 50 points, for goodness sakes.
Oh, no, it would be a lot more than that.
Well, I got to give her a little rest on occasion, my friend.
I mean, you can see all of the dynamics that she has. She's powerful inside, she rebounds, and then she stretches the floor. I mean, then if your post player has to come out and guard her there, she has a quick first step.
Last year's debut with Utah, Pilley was the Pac-12 Player of the Year. This year, all Pac-12, and again, over 2,000 points scored. Gonzaga with the ball, the lead by a Singleton.
And I think it's interesting that Ejim for Gonzaga is getting the early rest. They took her out and didn't bring her. I thought they'd bring her back from the timeout, but here she is coming to the scorers table now. Her and Maxwell both.
Hollingsworth whistled for that foul. Her first, team's first. A chance for Utah to grab the lead. Wilkie backs it up. McQueen, catch and shoot, not there. Into the hands of Kaylee Trong. She wants to push. Good hands from behind by Vieta. Maxwell Ejim ready to check back in for Gonzaga. Pilley returns to the floor for Utah.
Yeah, they're going to try to stay matched up as best they can, the two of them. I think both coaches know that they need them on the floor as much as possible. And we saw again just on this last play the quickness of Vieta getting out and pressuring ball handlers. He's
Vieta
all over Maxwell right now.
Good call, Mike. Plenty of time on the shot clock. High pick from Hybens, and it's a good one. Good baseline help defense by Pilley.
Got bailed out here with the kick ball because
sure
they were running out of time. There was 6 left on the shot clock.
You're going to watch Utah sag off of Esther Little. Mike, not much of a scorer, plays the great defense and rebounds.
And that's one of the things you're trying to, find when you have a player like that in the game. You got to figure out ways to make them a threat offensively.
Coming off the pick, stepping back, the 3, bam, beauty.
Well, both Trong sisters are really deadly three-point shooters. They just have a great feel for it, and they're great penetrators and creators as well.
7 now for Kaylee Trong. Look at the execution. Man, Johnson and McQueen.
They practiced that as shoot-around this morning, trying to get some backdoor situations. But actually, both teams went to work at that.
14-12 Gonzaga, 3:02 left to go in this very entertaining first quarter. Ejim short. Remember, the winner of this game advances to the Sweet 16. The last ticket to be punched, you're looking at it. This game will determine who is the last remaining Sweet 16 team, and another three-pointer for Utah. McQueen.
She was one of the heroes the other night when they were stalled out. She and Wilkie kind of gave them a real good jump in the second half.
McQueen had 17 points, 4 boards, 6 assists, and no turnovers in that first round game. Hybens can't get it home. Here's Little with 7 on the shot clock. Now Maxwell wants it. She's got a quick release, but she is hawked. Ejim's got to put it up. Into the hands of McQueen, and here comes Utah.
Utah's got to feel pretty good about what they're doing defensively right now, because they've made everything on the perimeter tough.
Pilley got great position. She will go to the line.
Well, we talked at the top about modern basketball analytics, which says you get layups or points in the paint and threes. From the other night, just look at this for Utah. They scored 68 points. They had 36 in the paint, 24 at the three-point line, 6 at the free throw line, and only 2 from the mid-range. And pretty close on the other side, too. A little more mid-range. Gonzaga's a little bit more content with their 12 at the mid-range, but they also scored more points. They are going to shoot threes and go to the rim.
That last foul, by the way, was on Esther Little, her first, team's second. Pilley, an 81% free throw shooter, buries them both. And the Pilley family, I love the corn, Dad. I love the corn. They are here. They've got signs, mom and dad, brothers, sisters, aunts and uncles. It's just a great story. Peely with 12 points already. Maxwell, Vieta all over her. Quick release, not there for Brenna. There's the board by Lonnie White, who has just checked in for Utah.
There it is. You close out to her, she pump fakes.
Good board, Ejim. Stepping through, not getting the roll. Into the hands of Peely. She thinks twice before bringing it up herself.
Yeah, let her play point guard too.
What a start by Peely. Unbelievable. 17-14 Utes, buck 9 left to go in this wild first quarter. Young, you bet.
And those are almost bonus points for them. Young is just starting to improve as a three-point shooter, but when they get points like that from her on the perimeter, it puts a lot more pressure on the defense.
10-0 Utah run. The lead is 6 under a minute to go in the first. The half-court defense by Utah, Mike, has been suffocating to this point.
Well, Johnson's got the one-on-one matchup with Ejim, and they are nose-to-nose with the three-point shooters.
Kaylin Trong, oh, baby, NBA three and then some.
We're gonna, as I said before, we're gonna see a lot of threes if people can get themselves open.
Man, you broke it down, and on cue, another triple.
And now we have the zone by Gonzaga, something they got to early in the game the other night to change the flow of the game against UC Irvine.
Shot clock off, game clock at 10 right here. Peely looking for a cutter. Vieta hesitates. Got to put it up if you're Johnson. Wow, what a stick by Jenna Johnson, and what a first quarter for Utah. 23-17, Utah with the lead.
Well, the two stars have been going. Ejim, she's a force, but she's knocked out some jump shots too. You know, energy inside, finishing at the rim, and then Alyssa Peely going to the basket. Either hand, Utah on top.
Absolutely gorgeous. I love this town. We're in Spokane, NCAA Women's Championship, part of the Regional 4 in Portland Pod. Top 25 matchup. Right now, the Utes leading Gonzaga going into the second quarter. Some hot three-point shooting, Mike.
Well, they got 4 different players that have already made threes. They have 5 that shoot over 35%, and their spacing allows them to get this. They've knocked them down. They're 5 for 10 from the three-point line already. At that rate, we're going to see 43s tonight.
Mike's doing the math because I can't, but I hear you, buddy. Just as you predicted. And Peely with those 12 points in the first quarter alone, including a couple of those triples.
And, you know, when you plan to think about double teaming a little bit, that's one thing. But when she's stepping out to the three, there is no double team out there.
That's a great point. Second quarter underway. We're at the Kennel, packed house. White back rimming off. Kaylin Trong with the rebound, and she'll trot it up. Can Gonzaga get Maxwell going, Mike?
Well, I think they're going to try to have to do that, but it's going to probably have to come from an inside-out game like that. They've got to get a few buckets there because she's being face guarded everywhere. Nose to nose.
Nice execution by the Zags to open up this quarter. Quick pass and one. Peely to the line. Her release and footwork sublime.
Well, Ejim gambled a little bit on this one, trying to get around the front and steal the pass. When you do that, it's too late. Now you're having a little guard have to come across and take on the brunt of Alyssa Peely on the block.
Kaylin Trong with that foul, her first, team's first, and Peely continues to pile up the points. Showing her range from distance, but when she gets on that low block where the bread is buttered, look out.
Well, and she's got a real good knack for kind of walking you up an extra step up the lane. So if you're on the top side of her, she's going to seal you and give her enough room to drop step and get that layup room.
Turnover Gonzaga. Remember, Peely coming off a great game against South Dakota State. 26 and 7 points and rebounds. Had the 3 triples. Well, she looks like she's going to top that. The lead is 7.
Now we got Peely in the ball screen. I don't know if they wanted that shot. I think they wanted her to use the ball screen and see what happened.
They're going to give Lonnie White that shot until she can make a couple of them, that's for sure. So here's Maxwell, hawked by Wilkie. There's Maxwell.
And there's the one player on their team, well, not one player, but they're a little more comfortable taking that mid-range off the dribble than Utah would.
White almost traveled. Vieta sandwiched in. And it looks like Vieta is going to be called for that offensive foul. Comes up slowly.
Great defensive positioning by Kaylin Trong right here. Trying to split it. Vieta's trying to get between the 2 defenders, but Trong got there, I think. A little body contact from behind by Ejim, but the initial blow was the offensive foul.
So Vieta, who can kind of hit the tight wire with the foul trouble, picks up her first, team's first. We're early in the second quarter. Utah up by 5.
Wilkie she's all over Maxwell.
Transfer out of Wisconsin, finding a home in the starting lineup with Utah. Skip pass, working to perfection, Kaylin Trong.
That's the catch-22 on defenses against Ejim. If you have to sag that much to help on her, you're going to leave a 3-point shooter open, particularly in the weak side corner.
Crowd into it. The lead now a deuce for Utah. Huge triple by Kaylin Trong. Vieta switches hands. Wants to pull up. Instead, there's the kick in the corner. Not there for McQueen. Ejim with the board, and here comes Kaylee. She'll walk it up. A chance for the Zags to draw even or go ahead. Hollingsworth back on the floor. Young's got her. Almost a treble. 9 on the shot clock now. Kaylee Trong. Tough shot. Can't get it back, rim and off. And the ball belongs to Utah.
So if you're going to try to help on Yvonne Ejim down in the low block, and here she goes, the guard on the weak side is trying to come and help take away that pass, but you leave a corner 3-point shooter, and both Trongs and Maxwell are able to knock down that shot.
The Trongs parents in attendance. Dad so influential in helping these kids turn into the basketball players they are now growing up in Houston. Look at the hustle play by Maxwell, jump ball. And the Zags will take it with that arrow heading their way. Crowd loves it.
Well, both teams, I think, have gotten a good look at what they want to try to get. It's now, can you execute when there's extreme pressure? I mean, this is what tournament games are against good teams.
Winner of tonight advancing to the Sweet 16. One remaining bracket to be filled, and it's this side of it here in Spokane. What a hustle play by Young. Speaking of tight wires, finds Vieta. Here comes Utah. Wilkie, that was short, wants to chase down her own miss, but Ejim would have none of it. Here's Kaylee Trong. Maxwell, one of the most dangerous 3-point shooters in the country. Still looking for her first 3. Trong will hit another 3. This time it's Kaylee Trong. And look who's got the lead now. 27-26, Gonzaga with that big 3, leading by a singleton. 6:12 left in the second. Back at the kennel of Gonzaga with the lead over Utah, but just by 1. All right, Wednesday night's ESPN NBA double dip. Clippers, Sixers, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Then the Nuggets and the Suns coverage tips off with NBA countdown at 7. 3-point shooting. Boy, Mike, did you call this from both teams? But let's load up on Gonzaga.
Well, Gonzaga, I mean, they're starting backcourt and wings. They shoot it great. And obviously, you see Maxwell's numbers. She's 6th in Division I. The Trongs both over 40%. It's incredible. I mean, as much as we talk about Utah's threes, Gonzaga comes right back at you with 3 elite three-point shooters. And both teams have 5 three-point shooters over 35%. Yep. So they're built for this.
Big time. Packed house here at the Kennel student section going bananas. They got here early, saw some tents pitched outside the building. Love it. There's the answer out of the break. McQueen with the triple.
I think they were trying to disguise that they were what they were in defensively. Little came out and played man-to-man on the ball handler, but they were really in a zone of some sort.
McQueen with 8 points, a couple of triples all the way to the rack. Is Kaylee Trone.
They have Little guarding Vieta, trying to put some size on her to take away some of the looks they have. A very big lineup on the floor right now for Gonzaga.
And there's Little, what she does best, rebounding. 5:25 left to go in the second. Here's Hollingsworth looking for some help. She'll find it in Maxwell. High pick is there. Hybens. Trom. Hybens reposting. Instead, Eliza drills the three.
We didn't even have her on the graphic, and she's a great three-point shooter.
36% three-point shooter is Hollingsworth, one of Aussie's finest. 3-point lead, Gonzaga. Peely's been a little quiet, not even on the floor. Well, she is on the floor, my bad. Out on the perimeter. Back rimming off, cooling off a little bit is Utah.
Well, then they've done a better job of keeping her from getting the touches with the ball that she was getting early in the game, too.
What a matchup this has been with Vieta and Kaylee Trong. Quick shot, Maxwell, you bet.
Could have been a 4-point play. Follow-through got her on the arm.
Maxwell with yet another triple.
And you know she's loving this, having transferred from Utah.
So 35-29 Gonzaga heating up, and the Peely family for right now a little glum, but Peely's still on fire. Welcome back to the NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One. And now for tonight's Need to Know, brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods. The Alyssa Peely story is unbelievable. Check out this multi-sport athlete.
I mean, look at all of those. She's played everything, all those state titles. I'm a big believer that kids are specializing maybe a little bit too soon nowadays, and these multi-sport athletes are having such great success. I think, you know, they can do so many things. They learn different body mechanics, and she's obviously really good at everything. You see somebody with her agility and speed, her footwork, she's got great hands. She's just done so many things.
Alyssa's dad wouldn't let her specialize, Mike. He said every single one of these sports is going to make you better in your first love.
Very true.
So in the living room, there's a basket at the Peely household. Nothing that can be broken. You know, there's no vases. There's no tchotchkes. There's no framed pictures. It's just hoops.
I can relate, as it should be.
Peely back rimming off. Ball knocked around into the hands of Maxwell. And you mentioned that three-pointer that she just hit against her former U teammate. Yeah, that had to have felt sweet.
Well, you know, we started out with Utah making the threes. Now the Zags have made 7 out of their last 9, and 4 different players have shot it. And will this be the 5th?
Wow.
Yes.
Hyben says yes. Stepped right into that one. Doesn't shoot a lot of threes, but that was true.
I've been impressed with her since we've been here. She's really helped their team. Their post depth, they really just rotate 3 posts. Great pass.
Vieta. Unlucky there. Ball will belong to the Zags, and they hope to build on a 19-3 run.
And this home court advantage, or home crowd, has really gotten louder and louder as this thing's gone the last couple minutes.
You're right, Mike. I kind of like having this headset on so I can just hear myself think and hear you talk. It's nuts in here. Biggest lead of the game for Gonzaga. You're looking at it.
Look at the constant motion by both teams. Great spacing.
Kaylin Trong stepping back. Can't get the roll. Into the hands of McQueen. Doesn't have the number. She'll wait for some help. Here's Vieta. Under 3 to go in this second quarter. Wilkie all the way to the rack. Not there. Little battling, rebounding. And here comes Gonzaga. Good shift for Little off the bench, Mike.
She really hasn't. I didn't really expect her that she would be playing this many minutes, but they really like her defense against this kind of an offense.
Coming up at halftime, Dove in the studio. L and company, all kinds of things to talk about. Caitlin Clark, yet another record. UConn continues to make history, both Iowa and UConn advancing today.
I mean, you're talking about, I think the graphic I saw was 29 straight Sweet 16s for UConn. And Iowa, you know, they had a little scare there for a while, but they played great in the last couple minutes to pull it out.
Against West Virginia. Turnover. McQueen hesitates. High low inside to Peely. Quickly double teamed. The ball stays. Nope, it's going to go to the Zags.
I couldn't see if they knocked it off her leg. It looked like it, but we're screened off.
Let's take a look, Mike.
So
what do you think?
here's the double team that they had talked about going against Peely. She tries to go. Yeah, it's off her hand. It already hit the floor before Ejim hit it. Great call. Don't tell any officials I said that.
Under 2 to go. Maxwell between the legs. And now Hollingsworth.
That's a foul you won't like as Utah. You know, you're 20-something feet from the basket. You don't need those kind.
Here you, Johnson nicked for that foul. Her first, team's second. So Mike, Peely had 12 points in the first quarter. Right now she's sitting on 15. What's changed?
The defensive effort on her. You saw the double team the last time down. You saw her being denied a little bit more at the three-point line. It's players settling in better to the scouting report.
Offensive foul, Mike. How about that?
Especially when it's a guard getting called for it as a screener. You don't need that.
Wilkie picks up that foul, her first, team's third. For the 4th straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, all you got to do is go to ncaa.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Ejim off the glass.
Great drive across the lane. Interesting, we'll come back to that a little bit. That they have tried to find a way to get a different matchup on Ejim down on the block.
Biggest lead of the game. You're looking at it right now for Gonzaga. It's double figures.
Well, here's the play. Peely has not been guarding Ejim most of the game, and they did a little post-to-post screen to get Utah to switch so that Peely would guard Ejim on that play.
48 wanting a little information as Hollingsworth is called for that foul, her first, team's third. Ejim almost got a paw on it. 1 minute left to go in this second quarter. McQueen backs it out. Peely wants to dive down low. Matched up against Ejim. There's the high-low, batted away by Ejim.
And this is just a physical battle between those two. Great to watch. Ejim not afraid of the challenge either. She's playing Peely nose to nose at the top of the key right now.
Man, this has been a battle. Every possession. And we're only in the second quarter. 2 on the shot clock for Peely. She's got to put it up. Did she get it off in time? Oh, Alyssa Peely.
They're going to take a look, but I think she got it off in time. Might have got fouled on the drive, too.
Much needed bucket for Utah.
This is a how bad do you want it game physically.
Boy, amen, Mike. Well put.
Look
10
at
on
the
the shot
defense.
clock. Hollingsworth swooping in, and Peely gets her. And
That's
then
a
some.
tough foul. You don't need to commit that foul. I know you're trying to make a statement physically.
Peely picks up that foul. Let's go back to the last possession.
The clock is... Let's see, did she get it out of her hand?
Oh, man, I don't know,
boy.
Mike.
It might have still been on her fingertips.
And in a game that could go down to the wire, that could be absolutely huge.
They will review it
Yes.
at the end of the half.
Oh,
it's hard
baby.
to say if it's out of her fingers right there. Doesn't look like it.
All right. Hollingsworth gets one of two. Nice board by Young. Shot clock off, game clock at 10. Right here. Young all the way to the cup and scores.
Great double team.
Eliza good if it goes.
My goodness.
So it's a 41-33 Gonzaga lead.
It's been a war. I mean, physically in the paint, it's been a war. Nose-to-nose pressure on the perimeter, and yet people are still getting three-point shots off despite all the pressure. That's great execution.
Classic game. We're halfway through. Let's go to the studio now with Elle Duncan and the rest of her compadres. Oh, the atmosphere inside the Kennel electric. Quick look at the Regional 4 in Portland bracket. North Carolina State will be taking on Stanford. Texas will take on the winner of this classic, Gonzaga, Utah. 41-31, Mike. At the break, they took away that bucket from Peely late in the second quarter.
Well, the game was dominated early by Utah and by Peely. I mean, she came out on fire. They couldn't find her at the three-point line. And all of a sudden, the second quarter comes and it flips. And now Gonzaga comes out and rolls up a 24-10 quarter based on them getting hot, knocking down threes, getting the tempo back, and making life much more miserable for Peely. They doubled her some, they pressured her, and the game changed.
Boy, in that first quarter, though, Peely looked like she was going to drop about 50 on us tonight.
She did. She got herself positioned inside, overpowered people, got herself driving to the basket off a special play from a timeout, and then she stepped out to the three and knocked down threes, and it just spread out the defense. And then Gonzaga adjusted, and now the Chong sisters came out, knocking down shots, penetrating, go under on the pick and roll at your risk. Skip pass to the corner for threes. Driving it to the basket. Getting the and one, going to the basket. And then again, knocking down a couple threes to change the game and the whole flow of the game. And now Gonzaga has the momentum.
All right, let's check out tonight's game track, brought to you by Invesco QQQ.
Well, we talked about points in the paint and threes at the start of the game, and it's been exactly that. There have been 51 field goal attempts between the two teams, and 30 of them are threes. And the other points, all but one, are down in the lane. Analytics at its best.
Gonzaga has won 35 straight here at the McCarthy Athletic Center. 35 straight. If they can seal the deal and they lead by 10 going into the third, Mike, this will go down as one of Gonzaga's biggest wins in a long time.
It's why you play so hard all year to get a top 4 seed and have a crowd like this on your home court. This can propel you to the Sweet 16.
Third quarter underway.
That's not how you want to start.
Ejim, pick, and the deuce. Place is going nuts.
And I've been so impressed by her speed. It's a sprinting post player. And look at her run, get all the way back and get in front of Peely after laying it in at the other end.
Answer not there. Peely goes to the deck. Great offensive rebound by Pili. She was fouled.
Sandwiched between two players and still came up with the ball.
So Egypt picks up that foul, her first, team's first. Nobody in foul trouble at the moment. Kaylee Trong does have 2, but that's about it.
Good skip.
McQueen. Drive, dish, nothing there for Vieta. Right into the hands of Kaylee Trong, and her sister Kaylin will play catch. Here's Kaylee.
Going under there. Pick and roll will be a problem. I think they've adjusted a little bit.
Gonzaga 29-2 when leading at the half. 35 straight here at the Kennel.
Oh,
Step
don't go
back.
under.
Step
Don't go
back.
under.
Oh, Mike, you're reading my mind, buddy.
I would have thought they learned their lesson in the first half. Utah has to make an adjustment on that.
The Trong sisters still doing their thing. McQueen, and now Pili. There's the cutter, not there for Johnson. Wilkie, catch and shoot, not there. Kaylee Trong with the rebound, and here comes Kaylin. Biggest lead of the game right now for Gonzaga. You're looking at it. Inside, blocked by Pili. Maxwell saves the day. 10 on the shot clock now for Kaylin Trong. Four on the shot clock. You got to put it up if you're Kaylin. Oh!
It's raining in here.
Pick. Maxwell. Vieta.
Great hands and hustle by Vieta.
From behind, never saw her coming. Vieta didn't quit on that play. 49-31.
And normally you would warn your teammate that someone's coming, but it's so loud in here you can't even hear that kind of help defensively.
Kaylin and Kaylee, 12 points apiece. Ejim with 10. Pili denied. Ball up for grabs into the hands of Kaylin Trong. My bad, Kaylee. Here she comes. Ejim stepping in, dumping it inside. Oh, to perfection. And one.
There's the high-low again. Two post players that just know how to play off of each other. First they push it up the floor. Hollingsworth runs, and now the defender, Johnson, has to decide, do I guard Johnson, or do I guard Hollingsworth, or do I guard Ejim? And she's caught between the two, and all we get is a foul out of it, and an and one.
Wilkie picks up her second, team's first. Hollingsworth completes the three-point play.
And this has turned quickly.
52-31. What an answer for Pili. Third triple of the game for Pili. She's got 18, 12 of those coming in the first quarter. Let's see if Kaylee Trong can answer. She sure can. Looks at her bench. This place is going bananas.
This is how you draw it up as a coach when you want the ideal.
15 now for Kaylee. Young, aggressive to the cup.
She took advantage of all the attention being paid to Pili on that play, and the lane opened up.
Gonzaga's starters, all of them average in double figures. 4 of them are in that double figure land right now. Hollingsworth the only one not, or excuse me, Maxwell with the 5.
And we got a foul here on Young trying to chase Maxwell around the screen.
Young's first, team's second.
And Ejim's getting a well-deserved rest because she has been sprinting both directions the entire quarter.
Gonzaga has made 9 straight triples. 9 as Vieta picks up her second.
And as soon as you start making those, now you see what happens on this kind of play. You can get a foul because you can put the ball on the floor a little bit.
55-36. Inbounding underneath their own basket. Short there. McQueen wants to push. 6 minutes left to go in a third quarter, dominated to this point by Gonzaga.
And you see the length that the wing players and the post players have for Gonzaga right now. Other than the Trong sisters, they're long everywhere.
Little and Hybens into the rotation now for Gonzaga. Johnson back rimming off. Vieta leaps for the offensive rebound, and Utah will reload. There's the high hedge. Little. Healy wants it inside. Hollingsworth from the weak side. What a play by Kaylin Trong. Oh, man.
That was the biggest emphasis on half-court defense today in shoot-around, was the help on the backside against Peely.
Hybens whistled for that foul, her first, team second.
Well, here's the backside help. Peely's walked her defender Hollingsworth up the lane, but Kaylin Trong comes from the weak side, knocks the ball out, and keeps it in play.
Had the presence to just flip it to her sister. Great pass inside, Vieta inside to Peely.
There's no help for that one. That one happens too quickly. Great pass.
Peely now with 20 points. Her 19th 20-point game of the season. My goodness. Kaylin Trong wants to take it all the way in. Short there, good D by Vieta. Everybody to the deck. And finally, the whistle blows, and it'll stay with Gonzaga. 55-38, Gonzaga looking for its 36th straight home victory with the big lead when the stakes are highest. Just a magnificent shot of Spokane Falls. We are in the wonderful city of Spokane for second round action of the NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One, part of our Regional 4 Portland pod. Gonzaga with a big lead. Let's check out how they are fueling the run, these Zags, brought to you by Wendy's.
Well, it starts with just a defensive play to start the half, and Ejim sprints the floor. Now you got the Trong sisters involved, and a high-low, and another three. And they've got Utah on their heels with those threes. I mean, look at this. Kaylin, you don't even know sometimes who's going to have it, but they are combined 7 of 8 from the three-point line.
And they're the proud parents, Kaylee and Kaylin's mom and dad, coming all the way from Houston. Almost thrown away. Ejim can't get it home off the glass. Utah needs a run during the last 4:45 of this third quarter. Get back in and feel a little better about themselves. Peely, her own miss. Peely, so strong, she'll go to the line.
There's a great example of what Peely can do with the ball. At the three-point line, she's a threat. Shot fakes, dribble, gets in the lane, doesn't make it, and chases her own rebound down.
Ejim picks up her second foul.
That's a tough stat for Utah right there when she's outscored the rest of her team by herself. They need some other people to step up and make some shots. They've really struggled from the three-point line since early in the game.
Yeah, it's been all Peely. Little help from McQueen and Young off the bench, and that is about it. 55-40, 4:35 left to go in the third quarter. Does Utah have a few stops in them? Vieta, quick hands. Well, before she could get down to the rim.
It's a foul to stop the break.
Yep. Kaylin Trong with that infraction.
It wasn't really an intentional out there, I don't think, that would have caused stoppage of play. But it was a good defensive play just to stop it. Great defensive play by Vieta to start it, and a good defensive play by Gonzaga to stop the break.
Kaylin Trong with her first, team's fourth. 4:22 left to go in the third quarter. Here's Young. She's been very good off the bench. Three-pointer, and it's a wild one. Peely tries to save it, and does. Great hustle play by Peely.
You can just tell by her body language and her look on her face, she wants this so badly.
Egypt picks up her third, and she will sit. The NCAA Men's Basketball Championship Sweet 16 begins Thursday. Coverage starts at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, TBS, CBS. For more information on tournament game times and networks, go to ncaa.com. So again, Mike, Egypt picks up her third.
It's a little bit of an opening here for Utah. They didn't take advantage of it in the first half when she went out. Let's see if they can this time.
55-42.
And now the press. We talked a little bit. Utah is not a team that presses a lot, but they're down. They've done it in the past when they've gotten down. Now we're seeing full court pressure on both guards.
Ejim will sit. Kaylee Trong back into the lineup.
I think you'll see a lot more ball screens right now without Ejim in the game, trying to get some penetration by their guards to draw and kick like that.
Back rimming off. Young with the board. Wants to find Vieta and does. Vieta scoreless at this point. Normally gives you 8 a pop. Young hesitates. Can't get it home. Great job by Peely to knock it into the hands of McQueen. McQueen all
That's
the way
a
to the
great
rim.
screen. Again, so much attention is to stay home with Peely that when she sets a screen like that, the help's got to come from somewhere else.
McQueen now with 10 points. So good in round 1. Picking up where she left off here in round 2. High pick, Hollingsworth, Kaylee Trong. Man, does a full gainer right in front of the home folks in terms of the students.
You go to the rim at your own risk today.
Peely picks up her second. Team's 6th. Now they're going to give that foul to Young.
Well, we had a very clean first half, too, with only 9 total fouls called. Now both teams are in the bonus the rest of this quarter. We haven't been in the bonus the whole first half.
Crowd wanting a stop.
Gonzaga back in the zone again, trying to get an extra helper in the lane against Peely.
Young looking for that baseline, just kind of shoves Maxwell out of the way, but can't seal the deal. Couple of layups missed by Utah. That doesn't help the cause.
They have numbers. There it is.
Stepping into the 3. Oh, heartbreaker. Basket didn't want it. How did that stay out? Even Kaylee Trong is kind of laughing at that one. That is the spin cycle. Oh, heartbreaker.
Great hustle, though, to keep the ball alive and knock it off of Utah to get the ball back.
Good point. Maxwell pull up Jay. Quick release.
She's the best mid-range shooter in the building, I think.
She does have a triple to her credit. Has hit a 3 in every single game this season. 59-44, 2:05 left to go in the third. McQueen backs it up. 3 not there. Deja Young is going to miss that one.
Somebody might want to block her out.
She has been terrific off the bench for Utah. 9 points now for Young, 1 over her season average. So Gonzaga will call a quick timeout. The lead is still 13 for Gonzaga. For the 4th straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. 59-46, Gonzaga with the lead over Utah. The proud family of Alyssa Peely in the house, but Mike, she's had a little bit of help, but she's had to kind of carry the mail.
She really has. You know, they've only got 2 players in double figures, and she's had to, you know, do it at both ends too. She's in a physical battle defensively, and it's just been hard.
There's a good look at McQueen's mom and dad. Mom Melanie played for the great Elaine Elliott at Utah back in the day.
And McQueen is their only other scorer in double figures.
Hollingsworth again from beyond the arc.
Well, that's a good way to come out of a timeout. Draw up a play to get a 3, especially when you don't have Ejim in the game. You got to go look for other people to get scores. That's a nice way to start.
13 points now for Hollingsworth. 19 double-figure games on the year. Again, young, dynamic off the bench.
She's been a huge bright spot to keep them kind of energized.
In double figures now is Young with 11.
4 Gonzaga players in double figures. They're getting the balance they wanted.
Maxwell back rimming off. Unlucky there for Peely. Hybens grabs it, and Gonzaga will reload. Under a minute to go in the third quarter. 62-48, Gonzaga with the lead. Hollingsworth, pump fake. 7 on the shot clock now for Hybens. Dumping it
Great
inside.
high-low.
Hollingsworth. That's great interior defense.
Might have got fouled on the first one. Second one was clean.
Crowd thought so too. Utes will take it the other way. Deja Young playing the D on both, or playing the ball on both ends of the floor. Not there. McQueen, Hybens going hard for that board. Fouled by Young.
And it's bonus.
Yep.
I feel bad for Vieira right now. She's made several great plays driving down the lane and great kick-out passes to wide open threes, and they just haven't dropped for her teammates. She's doing everything she can to get everybody involved.
Young picking up that foul. So Hybens will toe the line.
They get a breather here for Maxwell for the end of the quarter, too. Get her the extra minute.
6th woman of the year, Maud Hybens. You're looking at her at the free throw line. Junior out of the Netherlands. Transfer from Syracuse. Didn't play there as she was injured. Found a home in Spokane. Peely grabs that rebound. Will not be tied up.
They sub Esther Little in for defense for this last possession. They can switch. They get some size on the switch.
Peely rimming out. Unlucky. It was a good look. And that'll do it. Gonzaga 1 quarter away from advancing to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2015. It's a 62-48 lead for the Zags. The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Packed house here at the Kennel, and the home folks are digging this score. Gonzaga leading Utah 62-48 after 3 quarters.
Well, when Yvonne Ejim picked up her 3rd foul, it was a 19-point game. Now it's down to 14, and she's still sitting there. We'll see. She's back on the court now to start the 4th quarter. They lost a little bit of the momentum. Utah got a little bit of footing those last couple minutes. We'll see if they can carry it over here.
Tonight's Star Stories brought to you by Honda. You're looking at the leading scorers.
Well, the Trong sisters have done what they're supposed to do to lead this team.
4 in double figures for Gonzaga. All of those 4 starters. Peely down low. Backing Ejim up and scoring. Ejim Ejim's got to let her go a little bit, Mike, with those 3 fouls. 24 now for the great Alyssa Peely over her seasonal average. But Ejim answers.
Great pass. They had it set up to get her cross screen inside.
12 now for Ejim. She'd get you 20 points a game, sitting for a little bit in foul trouble. She's had a lot of help from her friends. Peely tries to jab step past Ejim. Vonnie would not let her by. 10 on the shot clock now. Vieta backs it up with 5 on the shot clock. Not there, into the hands of Hollingsworth. And here comes Kaylin Trong. 4th quarter underway here at the Kennel. Gonzaga has won 35 straight in this building. Kaylin Trong, not there.
Didn't quite catch it clean when the pass came.
A trip to the Sweet 16 on the line. And there's the carry. We'll go the other way.
Utah needs to dig in right now. They want to get back in this game. They need to string together a couple stops in a row a couple times.
Indeed. Maybe even more than a couple of times, Mike.
They just can't keep trading baskets.
Double-digit lead for Gonzaga at the half, and they've never let go of that double-figure lead. Turnover, Vieta. McQueen on the wing. Little back in for defensive purposes. Peely. Ball into the hands of Young. Peely from 3, again not there. Ejim skying, taking it away from her buddy Hollingsworth.
When you get a rebound like that and Vieta's hanging around, you better protect the ball.
Maxwell.
That's a foul you don't need.
Yep. Young with the foul, her 2nd. Team's 1st of the quarter. Wilkie back onto the floor for Deja Young. She's been really good off the bench. Wilkie scoreless right now. Vieta scoreless right now. Maxwell inching ever closer to becoming the 5th starter in double figures for Gonzaga, which is what happens night in and night out for this club.
Every night they're just as consistent as can be.
Foul is
Boy,
going to
that's
go
pretty good defense.
Against Kaylin Trong, her 2nd, team's 1st.
This is where it gets hard sometimes because it's been a very physical game, and a lot has gone on in that game. That one's kind of out in front of the official, but it's kind of what's happened a lot all night.
McQueen all the way to the cup, aggressive.
Really good screen set by Alyssa Peely to get her going on that drive downhill, get her downhill.
Kaylee Trong in for her sister Kaylin. Remember, Ejim playing with 3 fouls. Here's Hollingsworth. Inside look. She'll go to the line. Peely got her. That's number 3 on Alyssa.
That's a really hard pass to make from that angle because Ejim was not on the ball side of the basket. They got her on the backside, and Peely was trying to anticipate and beat her to the block and ended up being behind her.
So here's Ejim. She's got the 12 points and 6 boards. And just to remind you, Gonzaga, the last mid-major to remain alive in this NCAA Women's Championship tournament. They are no stranger to the NCAA tournament. They're no stranger to advancing. They're showing you why. Wilkie finally on the board.
That's a great job of rotating the ball quickly against the scrambled defense.
And there's a ton of time left in this game. That was a huge 3 for Wilkie, the transfer out of Wisconsin.
So one of the things that Gonzaga did to practice against Peely's 3 is they're doing what we call icing the pick and roll, keeping it on the side, and then as Ejim helps, they rotate to try to take away the three. But the problem is they didn't communicate, and they never got the last rotation back to Wilkie to knock down that three.
Jenna Johnson, by the way, picking up her third foul, team's third. Taking a quick media break, 67-55, Utah hanging around, still a lot of time left in this one. Under 7 minutes to go here in Spokane. Gonzaga leading Utah by 12. While we were at the break, the officials took a look at that last foul called. They're still visiting with both coaches. Great time to bring in rules analyst Lisa Mattingly. What do you got, Lisa?
Well, hey, y'all, this is unnecessary contact. It's hard, it's to the face, and they're going to be, they'll penalize the common foul that they had initially, and then they will go 2 shots to any player on the court or any player, and the ball to the offended team at midcourt. I think this is exactly the right call. The crew did a really good job on that.
I concur. That was exactly the way it should have been called, and that's what they're gonna go line up for right now.
And this could be a pivotal moment in this game, Mike.
Yes. Yeah, Peely's going to shoot the 2 free throws. Any player can shoot them on the court.
Hollingsworth, by the way, picks up her second. Team second. Here's Peely. Is unnerved. Unfazed is the word Peely would use. Crowd hollering. Hits him. Peely eyeballing another 30-point game. She's got 26 to go along with the 7 boards. 67-57.
We got a lot of time for a 10-point game.
Yeah, we do. Utah hanging around and then some. McQueen and now Peely. Nothing there on the roll for Peely, so they'll work it from the perimeter. Now Peely dives and scores. Tough shot against Ejim, and Peely got popped in the face.
And Ejim was very lucky she didn't get her 4th there.
28 now for Peely. Carrying the freight. Vieta bounces off the pick.
That contact was the same thing that was called down at the other end here.
Ball up for grabs. We're going to go the other way. And Little will get called for that foul.
Well, and the 5,000-some-hundred Gonzaga referees do not like it.
6,000 on the nose. Team fouls on each squad. Crowd is up. Peely, the fake and the pull-up. Short. Ejim snags the rebound.
Not as patient that time. They can, if Utah wants it, they can get a switch almost every time down by the play they ran a couple minutes ago, and they can get Peely on a guard. They're just going to have to be patient enough to get it.
Ejim now bailed out by Hollingsworth. 5 on the shot clock, though. Backdoor not there. Ejim, ball on the deck. Quick, sweeping in.
Ball never hit the rim.
Nope, it did not. Mike, great call. And ball belongs to Utah. And the Utes are feeling a rally. Crowd imploring the Gonzaga defense for a stop. 5:15 left to go in the 4th. Here's Wilkie. 67-59. Peely blocked by Hollingsworth.
That's great help. And it's a really good thing when it's a post coming.
Ejim just too deep underneath that basket.
Peely's got a guard on her in the lane.
Oh, man,
too late.
They missed it. Inside look, inside look. Peely.
And we got a 6-point game.
Here come the Utes. Another 30-point game for the great Alyssa Peely, Her 5th 30-point game of the season and a ton of time left.
And I will say Gonzaga is really lucky that there weren't fouls called on those 2 buckets, because she had great position and Ejim was there with some body contact. Here it is. That might be contact on the shoulder right there.
I agree.
But Peely has carved out her niche down there.
Peely, another 30-point game. All right, well, we have a minute to breathe. It's time for Get More, brought to you by Geico.
Well, there's a lot of getting more. 30 points on 10 of 18. She got 7 boards and over 2,000 points. You're doing a lot of work to come up with all of that. I'll be very interested right here to see what Gonzaga does. They came out, or their last time out, got Yvonne Ejim 2 low post touches, and they got 2 buckets. And now they've got her on the perimeter the last couple possessions, swinging the ball. She's got to go back at somebody inside again.
Peely has 30 of Utah's 61 points, bringing the Utes back and feeling like they've got action. Maxwell pulls up, not there, into the hands of Wilkie, and a chance for the Utes to draw ever closer.
And they've held Gonzaga to 1 and done on a lot of possessions in this quarter.
It's the closest Utah has been in a long time. 9-0 Utah run. Ball stays with the Utes.
Very fortunate hustle play by Kaylee Trong to knock that out, because that was going to be an offensive rebound by Alyssa Peely if she hadn't touched that.
The closest Utah has been since the second quarter when it was 35-29. Wilkie, not there. Hollingsworth. And now Kaylee Trong. .345 left to go in this thriller.
A little bit of a late whistle,
Yes.
but it looks like the right call. Didn't like what they had on the pick and roll. So Trong just keeps going and gets the hack down across the arm.
McQueen got her. So 4th team foul on Utah, 2nd on McQueen. Here is Kaylee Trong. Perfect from the line, and man, that's critical here in stretch run time.
Well, the other thing is that foul now puts Gonzaga in the bonus the rest of the way, too.
1 of 2.
Utah's right there.
Big time. Boy, things were looking grim for the Utes, and they have just kept coming back thanks to Peely. Vieta wanted to go inside to Peely. She reposts, not there. Here's Vieta. Vieta hits the deck, not there. Peely fighting. The ball belongs to Gonzaga.
Boy, there's a lot of contact inside both ways. Great drive, all the scrum inside. That might be a foul, but Ejim just holds the ground, plays through it. And you have to. When you get games like this, you got to play through all this. Can't worry about how it's being called.
Peely's going to be whistled for that foul, and that is her 4th, Mike.
And Ejim's going to the line.
Peely's going to have to be very careful, because obviously she's the one Utah is going to look to and for.
And I would expect Gonzaga to go right back at her the next time down.
Ejim, the senior out of Canada, who announced in front of a packed house back in February that she is coming back next year. Place went bananas. 2 big tosses for Bunny.
And she's really gotten better as a free throw shooter, too.
The lead is 9. 3 minutes to go. Sold out crowd here at the Kennel is up and roaring. What a game we've been treated to. Skip pass. Wilkie, nothing there. Tries the baseline. Good
Healy's got to be careful. You can't be doing that when you got 4 fouls.
You're reading my mind, partner. Hesitation. Kaylin, she'll go to the line.
And that's a great sense about the game. You can attack the basket. You know you can get to the free throw line. It's bonus. Good defensive play at one end. A great physical rebound. Gets through a foul there. And then they get an attack because they've got numbers. There's 2 people down here bothering Ejim on the rebound. And now it becomes 4-on-3.
Vieta picks up that foul, her 3rd. Kaylin Tron, first free throw of the night. It is true.
And you do not want to put Gonzaga on the free throw line. They are basically an 80% free throw shooting team.
She gets them both. The lead is 11. A little separation for the Zags. 2:30 left to go in the 4th quarter. A trip to the Sweet 16 on the line. Texas awaiting the winner of this evening's game. McQueen from rim and off. Ejim flags it down. Huge.
You can see the want in her eyes.
Ejim with another double-double. She has just been sensational. High-low. Ejim misses.
And goes right back up. Right back up. Utah has to call a timeout and does.
The crowd tells the story. Sold out, full house, jam-packed, butts in the seat, baby. 74-61.
Ejim just wants the ball right now. They get a high-low situation. She doesn't connect on the first one, doesn't quit playing, goes right back up. That's a dagger.
This veteran team, what a ride and run they have had, Mike, and this is one of the most special moments in their careers.
Well, you got 6 seniors here. Obviously, we know Ejim's coming back, and then you have several grad students. But look at this. You got 5 players in double figures. They really, we were here the very first day when they had their press conference, and they had several players up on the podium, and they talked about how much they were playing for each other, that it was be special to play on their home court. They wanted that top 4 seed so badly. They wanted to give this crowd kind of a going away present for the seniors, to themselves and to the fans, because this group has played together and done so many special things. And now they're a minute 42 away from going to the Sweet 16. And that's when you start your season and you think about that, that's one of the big goals right on your list. You check it off, you know, win your conference regular season, get to the NCAA tournament. And the next one that you check the boxes, we're going to the Sweet 16. That's what they're playing for the next minute 42.
Gonzaga will play anybody, anywhere, anytime. Brutal non-conference schedule. At one point of the season, they had the 5th toughest schedule in the United States. Gonzaga 3-1 against the Pac-12, having defeated Stanford, Cal, and Arizona.
Well, that was a foul that Gonzaga had to give, so it's not going to hurt them. Ball's going to go out of bounds on the side. I don't think Chung liked the foul, but it ended up working out okay.
Kaylin with her 3rd. Team's 4th. Buck 30 left to go. The lead is 13 for Gonzaga. Looking to go to their first Sweet 16 since 2015. Ejim with yet another board to add to her double-double.
And they can use a lot of clock right here. And they will. They're going to reverse the ball as many times as they can before they shoot.
Gonzaga looking for a program best 32nd victory of the season. They're moments away from just that. Kaylin Tron rimming out.
But that was a great offensive possession because they used 20-plus seconds of the shot clock.
Listen to this crowd. You got to put it up if you're Vieta. You have no time. Inside, there's Peely. So 32 now for Peely, 5 off of tying her career best.
And Gonzaga's going to take the timeout to advance it so they don't have to face the full court pressure here.
So again, the last ticket to be punched to the Sweet 16 is our game right now. It's been a classic. Texas awaits the winner of this contest. North Carolina State, Stanford already advancing. Regional 4 in Portland. That pod has been dynamite. Gonzaga, mid-major, they're saying, nope. We'll take on anybody. And they are 38.6 away, Mike, from advancing to the Sweet 16.
I'll tell you, when the bracket came out and I knew we were doing these games, I kept thinking Monday night could be a special game, and it's worked out that way. The stars of this game have shown up and played like stars.
Boy, amen. Peely with 32, Ejim with the double-double. The Trong sisters doing their thing.
You got to foul if you're going to try to stay in the game. I think they've conceded.
Yeah, this game's over. Here's Hollingsworth with 10 on the shot clock.
They don't even need a shot. It doesn't really matter.
Kaylin and now Ejim. 2 on the shot clock.
And that's the way it's gone for Utah the last few minutes.
McQueen with the foul. 9.5 left. 36 straight home victories
and
now,
watch
Mike.
this crowd as these guys come out.
Kaylin Trong. Maxwell. Ejim. Oh, what a moment. What a night for Gonzaga and this wonderful program representing the WCC and all mid-majors with a lot of pride. Peely. But that's it. Great moment with Lynn Roberts and Alyssa Peely. Peely with 35 points in her last ever game wearing a Utah uniform.
That's got to be a proud family, no matter the outcome of the game. She was really, really good tonight.
35 points for Alyssa Peely, 2 off of tying her career high, but this is Gonzaga's night. First Sweet 16 appearance, since 2015. Wow. Home court advantage, I guess.
It is. I mean, we said it early on, this is what you play for. You want to be on your home court. It's hard enough to win in the tournament as it is. You want to get every edge you can. My hat's off to both of these teams. They were sensational. We got treated to a great game.
Just a fabulous game to determine that last ticket punch to the Sweet 16. Again, Peely with tears streaming down. Magnificent, leading her Utes. This night, though, belongs to the Zags and their hometown crowd.
It's always fun to watch a team celebrate, and I always got this little extra thing in my heart for the team that loses. Look at these guys going in to celebrate with their fans.
Look at that. Student section engulfing the heroines of the night. Look at this. I'll remember this forever, and I can't imagine what this must be like for each and every one of these Gonzaga players. Wow. Let's take a look now at tonight's Capital One rewarding performance.
And it's quite a performance. the effort and force that Ivani Egypt plays with is great. I mean, she can outrun guards. She works relentlessly at both ends of the floor. She rebounds, and she's coming to visit us, so we can ask her all about it. And there she is, just finishing it off.
Bonnie, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
I hate to take you away. Now, you go ahead and look at that. You look at the camera, girl. We hate to take you away from the crowd, but thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, the mindset for the Zags coming into this game, you had home court advantage, but you knew you'd have to be at your best against this great Utah club.
Yeah, for sure. I think if anything, it was just depended on our energy, and I think the crowd really fed into that. And I mean, the Zags and Zags work together, so we got it done.
Well, we watched you prepare for the last couple days in the game you played the other day. I'm more impressed, and I don't know how you do this, but you think you can outrun everybody in the whole building, the guards, the other posts, and your energy level really carries off on your team. But I saw you keep reminding your teammates today of shoot-around of what was at stake.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if anything, we always have a lot of leaders on this team talking, and we're always trying to encourage each other. So I'm just feeding into what my teammates are giving me, and I mean, whatever they need, I'm going to provide. So I'm so proud of them today.
Well, I'll ask you one more. How much fun is this? Who has a better day than you right now?
Nobody. Let's go, Zags.
Good luck next week. We're really looking forward to watching you guys play.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Congratulations, Bonnie. Another double-double for you, you beast. So that's a wrap from the kennel. Gonzaga defeating Utah 77-66. The Zags advance to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2015. For Mike Tebow, our wonderful broadcast crew, I'm Ann Schott saying so long from the kennel. What a win for Gonzaga. They're going to the Sweet 16.